Welcome into another episode of Victory Monday here on the Blueprint. It's always a good. Wait, shoot, we're recording this on Sunday, Dad. It's Victory Sunday.
It's Victory Sunday, but it's going to come out on Wednesday. It's just Victory Week. How about that? We just won.
That's all that matters, really. It's good. Wherever you're watching this,
we won.
That's all that matters.
It's all good. Very
with
good.
that, we'll just get the business out of the way. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. We've been loving interacting with you guys. But I want to pop this off with a quote here, DG. Biff Poggi's been a quote machine. I don't know if you've seen some of his interviews. So after the win, he's down on the field. I believe he was talking to Jenny Dell, and he says, I'm going to go eat some Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream with my wife, smoke a Cuban cigar, and then probably go to the hospital. And the good thing for him, if you saw his segment with Game Day, he can ride in the hospital in his Rolls Royce. I've seen it parked out in the parking lot. It's a nice looking car.
That is the most disgusting mouth on the planet. First of all, coffee ice cream. First, I hate coffee, right?
Oh, seriously?
So coffee flavored ice cream.
I would have taken you for an espresso guy. I thought you'd be a good.
I've never put coffee in my mouth ever.
Crazy.
And then you add a Cuban cigar. Cuban cigars are so strong and disgusting, and that taste lasts for a very long time. Especially if you don't. You got to floss twice, and then you got to you got to get the pulling oil to pull that out, and then you got to brush, and then you got to floss again. That is a disgusting. I bet you his wife is pissed.
Listen, he can do whatever he wants. We can get him double Cubans, double coffee.
Baby.
We can't get him another Rolls Royce, though, but 2-0, that's all that matters. Yeah. And I think, Devin, you might prove the theory of you have infinite energy, but you don't drink coffee. So maybe there's something to it. Once you start drinking coffee, it's
now you depend on it.
Now you need it.
Yeah.
Now you need it. I'm a big coffee drinker.
I got natural juice, baby.
Yeah.
Natural juice. And how about the football team having natural juice, and they kind of, I think they're getting a little bit from Biff Poggi, right? He's kind of, and you know, some of the things he's saying in the media, obviously he's not saying those things, right? Like Bryce can do whatever he wants. Obviously, he's not allowing Bryce to do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Bryce is Batman. Obviously, Bryce is not Batman, right? But Bryce did play better. You can see improvement, right? Still not where everybody wants him to be, but the steady improvement is super important, and it's really cool to watch. And the MVP of that game, Chip Lindsey, man. And a lot of people are still a little frustrated with his play calling, but that's why you come here. That's why you come here to get perspective, and we're going to continue to tell you exactly what he's doing well to help Bryce Underwood as he continues to grow.
I thought Chip called a great game once again, and I think the offense is finding their identity. It's hard to have a diverse rushing scheme when that's what you're dependent on for 4 quarters. And we talked about it off air. You know, Bryce right now, he's clearly comfortable on the move. So how can you scheme boot actions but make it look different within the game and week after week? And
that's
Chip's
difficult.
done a good job. It's difficult. It's not easy,
difficult.
But he's done it.
What you haven't seen, and this is what the frustration for fans is coming, is the lack of a drop back pass game, right? You're not able to hit those shots down the field. And like we talked about, he's still growing and figuring out what the defense is trying to do to him. When does he take his shots? When does he check the ball down? What I would love to see is a little bit more pure progression, right? So that gives him a chance to not have to read what the coverage is, and you can get to those downfield shots because his eyes will take him to the correct throw. However, what Chip Lindsey is doing is he's putting them on the move. He's putting them in position. Because what you do with a young quarterback, and this isn't just Bryce Underwood, the freshman quarterback at the University of Michigan. This is a young quarterback in high school. This is a young quarterback in the NFL. You can see it with Ben Johnson, what he's doing with Caleb Williams. When you sprint a guy out or you go naked, you cut off half the field, right?
Yeah.
It makes it very simple. You create triangle reads that we talked about last week. And he's doing a really good job of mixing it in. And then also mixing in, I told you guys, it wouldn't be Bryce Underwood running all the time, right? But mixing him in to make sure you keep the defense honest. And I'm just telling you, that quarterback draw really hurt Nebraska's pride, right? Because they clearly had no idea it was coming.
Right.
And it was a perfectly timed call, right? When a quarterback does first of all, I've never done a quarterback draw and just ran and nobody even looked at me before I was in the end zone.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that call is perfectly timed. You knew exactly what kind of defense they were going to be in. They were in split safety defense. And so you allow Bryce Underwood to just show all of his talents. And he had some really impressive throws. He missed some throws like you're always going to have, whether you're an older quarterback or a younger quarterback. And as he continues to grow, he's going to hit some of those layups that he might have missed. And then his running ability is just going to continue he's going to get more and more and more comfortable. And you'll be able to lean on him in the run game even more.
That's the thing about calling plays is it's not just like having a good playbook. There's like a nuance to being able to
Yeah.
feel defenses and know
Yeah.
the timing of plays is important. And the timing of that QB draw was outstanding. And with the boot actions, I completely agree. There's not really anything to read. It's presenting a very clear picture.
Very
It's, hey,
clear.
if your flat is open, take this now, but check the over route and
Mhm.
maybe take a shot. But it's very simple. And then Bryce's talent shines through.
He's shown
Um,
a real ability to get to those over routes, whether rolling left or right, which is not an easy thing to do. Just because if you can kind of have an imagination for me, listeners and watchers, when you're on the naked bootleg or a sprint out or whatever the case may be, you start before the over route is even started, right? So
mhm.
you're already out in front of it, right? So you're out in front of it. You have the flat route that you have there, and you always essentially have to throw back across your body, which everybody says you never throw back across your body. That's ridiculous. If a guy's
Mhm.
open, you throw it to him. It just has to be clear and sunny, right? But the over route is always going to be a little bit behind you, and it takes a special talent to be running right and throwing that over, and then an even more special talent to be running left, rotate your hips all the way back and get that over that's chasing behind you. And I know you remember when we played Notre Dame, right?
Mhm.
When I go naked bootleg and Stephon Tuitt is chasing me and I got to sprint past him and you're way inside and
Yeah.
I got to try to throw you the over. So it's a special skill set. And like we've kind of already talked about, the talent is there. It's
Mhm.
very clear. It's just continuing to bring him along, spoon feed him, and the ability to run the football. MVP of the game, I said it was Chip Lindsey, but a backup MVP, Haynes, man. This dude is
Might be the best
powerful.
back in college football
This
right now,
dude
man.
is powerful. He's angry. He's
Yeah.
pissed off. I mean, I really enjoy watching him run the football. And when somebody gets in front of him, you shouldn't. I'm just telling you right now,
Yeah.
get out of his way because now you have like a brother, you have a mom at home. Your family's watching this, and now you're on your back and you're supposed to be tackling this man,
Mhm.
right? So just get out of the way and just let him make his way to the end zone. And it seems like they're doing that sometimes anyway.
It's such a luxury because usually teams have like a designated power back that's in there to build, break tackles and get those gritty yards, which is what he can do. But he's got speed and pop and vision. Like he's
Yeah.
got score from anywhere on the field, which is great. But I do want to say one more thing about the passing attack this week. Nebraska had one of the highest rated pass defenses in college football. And I say that within context of it's a
They
small
played
sample
nobody.
size.
Yeah.
They played nobody, but they do run a 3-3-5 system. And the picture is very muddy. I knew that was going to be a challenge for Bryce. And it's also a challenge for the receivers because at the college level, one play can look 2 or 3 different ways based off the coverage. So when you have a young receiver or a young quarterback and unproven receivers, that's just a recipe for disaster. And Chip did a good job to your point of, hey, let's take the
Eliminate it.
guesswork out of here. Let's just give ourselves the best chance. And then I'd say the next MVP, if all that's going to work, you need the offensive line to dominate in the trenches, and they absolutely dominated. Greg Cripp in the center, man. I've been critical of him at times, but in those double teams, when you're not the guy that's the hammer and you're the double team guy, you need to get to the hip and create movement. You need to climb to the linebackers and seal off the holes. And he had a great game. The whole O-line played great. Max Bredesen. It was, I mean, gosh, what a glorious, glorious rushing attack.
Yeah.
I mean, they dominated Nebraska at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football.
Yeah, and because of that, it opens up those opportunities to get on the naked bootlegs and the play actions, right? And those play action shots downfield, listen, they're going to come. Be patient. Be
Mhm.
patient. Those downfield shots are going to come because these defenses are going to have to if the offensive line continues to play well. Now, do we know what Nebraska is up front on defensive line? We don't. And their tackling ability was awful. I'm telling you, they are getting cussed out so much right now because watching them try to tackle our guys, they made everybody look like all Americans. And
Yeah.
I think somebody that's really emerging, right? And I have a play that was ruled a catch at first, and then it was not a catch, but the ability is there. Donovan McCulley has. I think he's really finding his groove, and he's starting to turn into that number one receiving option that you really can trust,
Yeah.
right? And it's almost like sometimes throw it up to him, give him a chance in double coverage. You don't want to get used to that. You want to do it a lot. However, He's playing at a really high level, I believe, and Bryce seems to feel really comfortable getting him the football. One specific play I remember, he threw him like a hitch. And Bryce threw it really, really close to the line of scrimmage, right? So McCulley has to come all the way back to get it, and it's going to be a 2-yard loss.
Yeah.
He makes a guy miss, does what he does, gives him a little skip to Malu, and then drives for a first down, right? So this is supposed to be a 2-yard loss completion, and he turned it into a 10 or 11-yard gain. Like, that is something that you need to do for your quarterback because the confidence continues to swell. And when Bryce Underwood gets fully confident and that confidence swells,
I know.
the sky's the limit, guys.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit. But you got to continue to massage that relationship between those two, massage the relationship between Chip Lindsey and the quarterback, and you have to continue to own the line of scrimmage. And like I said, we have no idea what Nebraska is. They didn't play anybody, right? So their back end is the play I'm going to show you. I'm just going to say the back end is not very good. Right.
Okay.
And though they had a top pass defense, I'm just going to say they didn't play anybody and they aren't very good because of what I'm going to show you. However, right, it's still a Big Ten team. It's a Big Ten win on the road. Mm-hmm. That's huge for a young quarterback in his football team.
Yeah, that trust with McCulley is so big. I mean, he's separated. He's been what Michigan has been missing for a few years, and you can only dream. Imagine having multiple McCulleys out there. And I think Marlon Klein has that potential. Hogan Hansen was injured, so that's the other thing is there's been a lot of injuries. Yeah. But it's a masterclass of Chip Lindsey because he's working with what he's got. Mm-hmm. And I just, with Bryce, when you talk about his confidence, you got to help a young quarterback out.
Yeah,
and he's not perfect with his accuracy, but there's far too many drops in easy situations by veterans. And that's, okay, you won this game, but if your goals are to be a playoff team, there's going to be, USC, that team, you're not going to beat them making as many mistakes. Washington is the truth. Ohio State obviously doesn't need to be said. Mm-hmm. So there's little things. I think like Bryce's play is a microcosm of this team as a whole, which is really good, close to being great or the level that they think they're capable of. And it's just those self-inflicted wounds that are key here.
Okay. Let's take a look at the photographs of the one play just to kind of outline and see where Bryce can improve still, and also how Chip Lindsey is doing a very good job of navigating a young quarterback trying to figure out himself and figure out this thing that we call college football that I'm just telling you guys is very difficult, right? I know everybody's getting paid and you expect everybody to be great and they're ranked so high. This is not high school, right? So there is a learning curve and Bryce is in that right now, and it's hard. It's hard to learn on the fly, and I think he's doing a very good job, and Chip Lindsey's really helping him. So here we go. Now, this is man-to-man coverage, right? You got man-to-man across the board, but take a look at the circled safety, right? He's not in the middle of the field, right? Which is something different, that you don't usually see for base coverage, right? So they are giving the respect that Donovan McCulley deserves, right? He's earned it. He's played well, and they said, you know what? This young quarterback likes him. We're going to take him away.
Yep.
So in this scenario, this should almost be dead. Let's move to the next picture. That should be dead, right? So you get the safety coming over the top. You are doubling your number one receiver, which we see in college football, NFL football. If you got a guy, you're going to get doubled from time to time. And then they got to start finding out ways to put McCulley in different spots where he can't get doubled, right?
Yeah.
So what you have here in man-to-man coverage, you have a shallow cross. That's the read, right? A shallow cross is kind of a natural pick. A shallow cross, he should stair-step that and be open running across the field. So you want Bryce to have his eyes to that safety, sees over the top, and then get right to that shallow cross and allow him to catch and run a 200-meter dash up the sideline for a touchdown, a la, what was the kid's name that he transferred, the wide receiver that did it against Alabama? Right, remember he catches that shallow cross and he takes it all the way to the end zone in the national championship.
Oh, Tyler Morris. Tyler Morris.
Yes. Yep. That's what you want to see, right? You want to see, assess, okay, I wanted that, can't have it, get to that shallow cross, right? Next picture. This is the issue. So the safety's bad because he's supposed to be doubling him, but he's just not quite doing a very good job, right? So Bryce still throws it, and Bryce makes a great throw, and
he's a maniac for throwing into this.
He's a maniac for throwing it.
He's dead, but I guess he is.
You do not want to do this. You don't want to get used to this because most safeties aren't going to be so late like this, right? But Dalvin McCulley goes up and makes the play, and it's great. However, like I talked about, we don't know what Nebraska is, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they're not very good, right?
Yeah.
However, look at everybody else, man. Even the shallow cross where you want him to go with the football, you cannot be this covered. In man-to-man coverage, you cannot be this covered. And honestly, I'll be very clear. The top two that are circled, those are less of moving routes, right? One's a curl. Those aren't moving routes, so I can understand why you're covered a bit. The shallow cross has to be open.
And that's a basic behind him by the tight end, I think.
The shallow cross has to be open. You're the winner. You're the one sprinting. You're the one that got the natural pick. You have to be open, and he's not, though this ball's already out, and that's not what Bryce was thinking. What if he was thinking that? Right now, he's in trouble, and a great protection by the offensive line. If he was thinking this, he doesn't throw this, and he goes to that shallow cross, it's not available for him. You gotta win on these man beaters when it's man-to-man coverage, because if they try to do this, they have to pay. If they're going to take a safety and just completely remove him and put him over your best receiver, they have to pay. Now, this ended up not being a catch, but it's a great job. This is what I'm talking about, Donovan McCulley. He goes up and literally, if he wears a sock, he probably wears about 13, tall guy. If he wears a 12 and a half, that's a catch. Right? And it's a great play. However, you want to go back and watch the film and say, hey, young guy, we don't want to do this. We don't want to live in this world of we're not supposed to throw here, but we're just going to bully ball and just be way better than the team, because that's not just going to happen every single week, right? In this conference, these football players are really good. They're coached up. Nebraska didn't prove that, right, with their tackling ability and different things like that. However, as you get into the media, and let's be completely honest, everybody, we're getting ready to beat Ohio State, period.
Every day.
Right,
it's a question.
When I talk about like, hey, this isn't going to work, the players are going to be better, I'm talking about Ohio State, period. Right, and if you get ready to beat Ohio State, you'll beat everybody else. Right, that's how it's been. That's how it's been. If you get ready to beat Ohio State, and if you have the capability and the skill set, and guys are playing to that standard, you'll take care of everybody else. And then when Thanksgiving comes, you'll eat with your family, and then you'll get ready and you'll beat them for the 5th straight time. Right. However, you can't get used to doing things like that because they got a guy who wears number 2 on their defense. I'm just telling you, he's going to be over the top.
They got different players.
If they're telling him to be over the top, he's going to be over the top. And that ball is going to be intercepted, right? So we have to do a better job, Michigan does, of first, we got to continue to develop learning coverage. But that's something for Bryce. He gets grace with me, right? Because he's a young quarterback. His head is spinning. He's on the road. This is a tough environment to play in. He's trying to figure this out. The rest of those guys, I don't want to hear about a wide receiver learning how to run a shallow cross and get open, right? That is day one. Stair step and get open. You already got the natural pick. You cannot be so covered, because once he gets to that level where he's coming off of that and coming to his next read, you need to be there and be available and make the play. In that case, you wouldn't have been. And maybe Bryce would have been able to take off and run and make a play there, but you don't want to live in that space. You want to be able to develop your young quarterback the right way, and then when he has to put on his cape, when he has to be special, he can do that, and he doesn't have to feel pressured to do that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I want to piggyback off some of your pictures there. I want to go back to that last photo just to really hammer home the point. This is one of those that you say it was a near completion, great throw, damn near great catch, but you got away with this one, to your point, Dev. I just want to really hammer home that point, because I've seen this going around on social media of what was close. This is a dead play against the best teams. This is an interception waiting to happen. Bad things happen throwing into the set. That is a dead play from the jump. And if you can go back to the very first picture, I want to tell you from a tight, this is disrespectful in my mind. This is it's flat out. If I'm a tight end here, if I'm any of these receivers,
if I'm anybody,
it's a joke. You're saying you're going to look at all the grass in
this
either
is basically
direction.
Zero for everybody else.
It's zero, exactly. Zero principles. That linebacker off the ball has the running back in man-to-man. They have 5 linemen working one-on-one with your 5 linemen. It's literally one-on-ones, and we think we're better than you.
No, it's one-on-ones in every situation. One-on-one with the running back, one-on-one with the receivers, tight ends, one-on-one with all the linemen.
O-line, yes.
Am I better than you?
Yes.
And they double McCulley.
Yes. And it's a sign right now. I don't know if it's Andrew Marsh. I know that there's some trust things with the young receiver, but he's clearly talented as a freshman. But that you have got to beat this coverage. This is a touchdown waiting to happen at every level for the best teams. that no team should line up in this coverage against Michigan because you're Michigan. And if you think you're a playoff team and one of the best teams, you should abuse this coverage when it's this clear and this obvious with your quarterback and your talent. So it does paint a picture, man. And right now it's going to be a matter of who is going to be the guy that can beat this coverage. This is what you work all offseason for. It's what you train for. It's what you hit the weight rooms for.
Yeah. And so I had Arizona State yesterday. And they've got a guy, Jordan Tyson.
Dog.
Oh my God.
Maybe the best receiver. I mean, he's up there.
Hold on, the guy in Columbus. Hold on.
He's up there, though.
He's up there.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of people say he may be the best.
Draft eligible because the guy in Columbus is a sophomore.
Best draft eligible. There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Right. However, it's a reason that people are kind of saying maybe he is the best because his ability to get open, he is a dog. Right. But what they do, because everybody, listen, going into the game yesterday, you won't believe this stat. Only one receiver had caught a pass outside of Jordan Tyson. One receiver.
What?
One receiver during the season.
What?
So it seems made up, right? Their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, talented, right?
Michigan State. He started his career at Michigan State.
He's got 50 completions going into the game yesterday. Guess how many receptions Jordan Tyson had?
40?
24. Right? So the rest of the receptions were spread between the running backs and tight ends.
Yeah.
No, one other wide receiver had 3 receptions.
Okay.
Not okay. However, they still find a way to get him the ball, right? And that's because he doesn't line up outside every time. They move him in the slot. He comes in the backfield. You have to figure out where he is. Now, is McCulley capable of that?
Yeah.
We don't know just yet.
Right.
However, if he is, that's going to be the answer to stop this kind of coverage when you have a guy that Bryce is really trustworthy, who has Bryce's trust. You have to put him in different positions so that they cannot do that to him and to your team, right? It was so impressive to watch. Now, Jordan Tyson didn't have a great day yesterday, right? They tried to get him the football. The defense played really well. Baylor, they did a nice job. However, when it was winning time, they needed to play. They put him in the slot. He ran a circus. He ran a corner route, and he floated like Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line and caught the touchdown. Like, you know what I mean? That's when you're in those situations at the end of games, right? It's players, not plays, right? So put your players in position to be in the right spot to make the play. And I think Chip Lindsey will be able to do that, but that'll be the answer to make sure that you get your best player out of those double team situations. And then if they still figure out how to double team him, like we spoke about, somebody's got to win.
Yeah. I want to say, though, and we'll put a bow here on the offense and talk about the defense in the next segment. But, as a matter of identity, Michigan has those guys, and they're in the backfield. I mean, Justice Haynes is running through arm tackles. Jordan Marshall, we've been waiting on his moment, had critical runs, that game-sealing run, breaking a tackle, and then having the awareness to get down in bounds. But you're Michigan, and we want more. We want it. We want it from the receivers and the tight ends too, outside of McCulley. But right now, the dogs are in the backfield. Yeah. Those guys are making things happen, even when they aren't there. But I did feel like the offensive line blocked really, really well. So overall, that's a good day. That is a good win on the road with a young quarterback.
Jake. It's a great win.
It's a great win.
Right? You never apologize for winning.
Never.
But you come here to figure out how do you beat Ohio State, period.
That's
why you're here. That's why you're watching us. That's why you're subscribed. That's why you liked it. That's why you made another page to subscribe again. That's why you've done it, because you want to know, okay, yeah, we beat Nebraska. Not the goal. How do we beat Ohio State? Because if we take care of that, everything is in front of us.
I got the answer for you. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break because the answer, it starts with the defense. We'll see you guys here in a few seconds. All right, welcome back to the Blueprint. We want to remind you guys, hit that like button and hit that subscription. We're building a ton of momentum this season, just like the Michigan Wolverines are on the field. It is a little bye week for them, but it can't be a bye week for you guys as you're liking, subscribing, following us on all social platforms at the Blueprint UM and sharing
Jake,
it with your friends.
We're trained running down the highway, aren't we?
That's what we are, a train running down the highway.
That's
We're covering all our bases
Unstoppable here.
Yes, just like that Michigan defensive line yesterday.
They are a train running down the highway of other people's offense.
I want to give a little pit stop though, Dev, because there was a boot running down the middle of the goalpost, which is Dominic Zavada. I kind of want to loop the special teams in. And a 56-yarder, I think it was a career long.
Challenged them. You said, hey, you got to make these kicks, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he responded.
If you're going to be the best kicker in college football, you got to act like it. And, I mean, my goodness, he's been so critical in these big games. So, shout out to Dominic Zavada. Got to shout out to special teams. That was big yesterday. But let's talk about the defense.
That was the difference in the game, right?
Their
kicker missed one. Zavada made his.
Yep.
There it is.
It was. I want to give you the floor. You've been high on Jayshon Barham. You said, I mean, we like him at linebacker, but you've been saying, hey, we like him in the pass rush situations down on the edge. So, what do you see from Barham?
I remember he's a true freshman. He's playing at Maryland. I got his game. But before the game, I'm obviously studying film. And I'm like, okay, he's a really good linebacker. You can see that he's still young, still figuring things out. But when he gets on the edge, he's not a true freshman. He's a grown man, right? You put the word in there. He's a grown bleep man. And I get in the coach's calls. I'm like, God, tell me about, are my eyes lying to me? Is he your best rusher? He's like, man, he might be our best rusher as a true freshman, right? So when he came to Michigan, I was like, oh, I can't wait. And a lot of people who watch my other shows, they probably remember he should get on that edge at least half of the time and make sure he gets after the quarterback. Because if he was their best rusher as a true freshman, I imagine he's probably a little better now. Didn't use him as much as I thought they would a year ago. And then when this show started, I said, listen, they've got to get this guy on the edge. Jake.
Yeah.
He's on the edge, and he is an assassin.
Yeah.
He bends, he leans. He might have just found himself. I mean, I thought he could be a first-round pure linebacker, but he might have just found his niche to where he's almost certainly a first-round player because of what he can do on the edge. I don't think there's a tackle that can deal with this power, speed, and the ability to bend and get small. Now, this is without him having real pass rush moves yet, right?
Yeah.
He's basically speed and speed to power. Speed to power. Wait till he really gets into his bag and finds the craft of the spins and the fake spins and all these different things. I am so excited to continue to watch him as a pass rusher. Oh, my goodness.
I hope he donates back to the collective because I think, an elite edge makes a lot more than a linebacker. He might be making $100 million here soon. So hey, Jayshon, man, we love you. Take care of your money, invest it first, but maybe donate back to that collective. And I think a big piece of this, though, Dev, is the play of Cole Sullivan and Jimmy Roller. I mean, Cole Sullivan was lights out, and he has been, but his role just continues to grow. Mm-hmm. I think that allows Wink and Jayshon to feel more comfortable by putting him down on the edge. You're all this is saying, fine, we got to put our best 11 on the field.
Yeah.
And that's clearly the best 11. Here's a stat for you, though. Nebraska passed the ball 41 times yesterday. 36 times they were either sacked or hurried. I give Dylan Raiola a ton of credit because he plays within he gets the ball out quick, but my good, that is it. Talk about relentless pursuit.
Some of those times he was catching the ball and there was a guy about to tackle him.
Right away.
Like the shotgun snap, he just touched it. And you could see his frustration got him out of his game. Like he was so
There's a mental side to that.
He was slamming the ball. I've never seen him act like this. Right? Yeah. And I can only imagine. Wait, I can do more than imagine. Devin Gardner, Michigan State. You remember that? 2013?
It was, yeah.
Catch the ball, and there's two dudes tackling you already. You make one miss, whatever, and obviously he doesn't have that skill set, right? So he's fighting for his life, and he's so frustrated that now he's missing throws. He can't get to his reads. I feel like, do we need a flashback? Because I feel like I said the key was you got to find a way to get there with 4. And they were able to do that, and there was nowhere to throw the football. Now, he's a good player, so he had some success in other areas and whatnot. Yep. But, man, what they have been able to do, and you nailed it. You hit the head nail right on the head. The emergence of those two linebackers has allowed Barham to really free himself up and be on the outside. And when you got him and imagine when you get into the obvious pass downs where you can put 4 pure rushers.
Right.
Take the big guys out of the middle. 4 pure rushers, and let's just rush. Let's get a pass rush versus these guards who are used to blocking bigger guys who can't deal with the speed, a la Brandon Graham whooping a guard to go sack Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's the options, the possibilities, they're limitless. And it's all because of the emergence of two guys who maybe they didn't know if they could depend on them, but it looks like to me they really can.
And Wink's the perfect defensive coordinator for this because, I've talked to him when we're calling game preps. Defense is different than offense. Usually you have a big body as your D tackle and then a lighter body as your D end, and you have certain body types. But on offense, whether I'm a tight end or a wide receiver, you learn the whole concept. In a sense, the best offenses are positionless. Mm-hmm. Wink says he approaches his defense as a positionless defense. So that's where, hey, Barham, you're not just a linebacker. Learn the entire concept because we want to move you around and you can play all these different positions and it's showing up. And then I thought my favorite sack of the day, though, Rayshon Benny was just literally tossing dudes off of him as he's working his way back because the big dudes in the middle can disrupt you too. I mean, they're it's got to be mentally. When you talk about the mental aspect, I felt like that they defeated Nebraska mentally in the trenches 100%. On both sides of the ball yesterday.
100%. Think about Nebraska. They've been able to drop back and pass, and even when guys got pressure on them, they were able to get the ball out quickly, all those different things. And you get in this game thinking you're going to be able to do the same thing, and you absolutely cannot. It's guys in your lap. It's guys around the edge. There's nowhere to go. You're getting sacked by one arm. Unbelievable. And I think I told you guys about Rayshon Benny that he was going to be dominant.
Next
right?
one up, yeah.
I remember because he played for my high school coach in high school, Greg Carter at Oak Park, right? And he was thinking about going somewhere else. And I think all of Michigan should send Coach Carter a thank you letter because just like he convinced me, didn't have to do a whole bunch of convincing, but he has that conversation with you of like, where do you want to live the rest of your life? Do you want to go to a school in the state that's not the best school in the state? That doesn't make sense, right? In those real life conversations, make sure Rayshon Benny is at the right school, and now he's coming into form. I remember I felt so bad for him, and when he broke his leg or he had the big injury against Alabama because he had started that year playing. He was playing really, really good, right? Yeah. And I remember seeing him in the building, right, and getting to talk to him just a little bit. And looking in his eyes, and when I tell you, I don't think I had seen a hungrier look in a person's eyes.
Because that's a big, strong, fast, powerful dude.
Man, I'm just telling you. And I love the 26. I love it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's great.
It's kind of like the old 98 at a quarterback.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. Why are you wearing number 26 as an interior defensive lineman? Guess what? Kids all around the country are probably going to start looking at, man, I want to wear 26 too. I don't see why not, right? I mean, it's really impressive to see. And to battle from injury the way he has and be this caliber of player, throwing grown men out of your way and making plays, unbelievable. And if we could pump in some round of applause, I think he deserves it.
And he's playing with that hunger too. And I think about Michigan. Look at this lineage of Mozzie Smith, Chris Jenkins, most recently Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. Like there's been a heck of a run. I'm probably leaving some names out here. We can go back to even when we were playing of just elite defensive tackle play and development.
I got a name for you. And he actually has already agreed to be on the show.
Who?
2-time Super Bowl champion. One of the greatest plays from a defensive end in Michigan history against Michigan State where he absolutely destroys Glenn Winston coming off the edge.
Say it.
Brandon Graham has already agreed to be on the show, guys.
I'd love to have him on. He's a special dude, too.
He's a special human, special player. To have the run he had with the Eagles, their longest tenure player. I mean, unbelievable. 2-time Super Bowl champion. I am so elated that he's agreed to be on the show. And
I'd love to get his thoughts on this D-line.
Oh, don't worry.
The expert.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
Guys, just keep on subscribing. Keep on coming and listening. And guess what? Our guy's going to be on the show. Shout out BG, man.
That's why you should like and subscribe. All right. Come on. We're giving you every single reason. Let's work our way through, though, Dev. The secondary. And so when you talk about this game as a whole, the same thing we were talking about in the offense, which is really good, but self-inflicted wounds. Brandon Hillman, you're a psycho, and I love it. And you're the type of guy that I love to have on our team and not someone else's.
Did you see the Bleacher Report video they posted when he was like laughing because he got the chance to hit a guy? He saw the guy catch it.
I gotta see that.
You got to see it, dude. He saw the guy catch the ball, and he's like smiling because he doesn't have his mouth guard in. Nobody wears one. I don't see why they do that. But he's smiling as he's about to just go, boom!
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what kind of psycho do you have to be happy to just get a chance to run into another human? Like, I don't understand.
We don't want him to lose that, But the penalties,
Yes.
the key penalties, you
can't take the stinger out of the B.
Yeah.
However, you got to be smart.
The Hail Mary before half, another self-inflicted wound, clock management, all good. Can't happen. But you know what? Like we said earlier, win the game, correct it after winning the game. And then I want to talk about the DBs in a second, because there was a lot of freshmen that are stepping up, and Jaden Sanders is I think he's a baller already. You always love when you don't have to point out that he's a freshman, because it means he's just blending in and doing his job. But Rod Moore was back yesterday.
Yeah,
Rod Moore was back. You talk about a journey, man.
I've been on record that Rod Moore is one of my favorite players, right? And before his injury, right? Just watching the film and watching how he plays the game, he has great football integrity, right? He's got great competitive spirit. Obviously, he caught the interception to beat Ohio State. And a guy that's from Ohio, like that, all his entire story is amazing. And him being back, it choked me up a little bit. I was kind of like, why put him in? All right, this game's pretty much in control. We don't want to risk him, right, to save him. But then the other part of me is like, man, this guy has battled, dude. He's battled, and he's got his opportunity, man. Shout out to Rod Moore. I'm so happy for him, and I pray, and I know he will get back to form. And so when you add him, Zeke Berry will be back at some point. I mean, you got the young guys stepping up, and they're forced into duty, and they're getting these reps, but they're improving on the fly, similar to Bryce Underwood. I just think the sky, they might already be at the sky, this defense, man. And like they're out of the stratosphere. They are, and they remind me, and I hate to bring this up because, we don't really deal in the dealings of Michigan State. However, those years when we were playing that defense, like
they were lights out.
I didn't have a chance to breathe, and not only me, nobody did, right? They got to the quarterback so fast. There is no looking off. There is no reading the defense. If you don't catch and throw, you're pretty much going to get sacked, right? Mm-hmm. Denikos Allen still lives in my nightmares from time to time. Guess what? Jeshaun Barham is our version of Denikos Allen, and I think an even better, a much better version, bigger, stronger, faster. And so when you can continue to get pressure on the quarterback the way you do, that allows the back end to grow up. That allows them to grow up organically. And maybe they don't cover perfectly every time. However, they don't have to pay for some of the mistakes, right? Yeah. So they make a mistake, but you got to the quarterback so they don't have to pay. Now, like you said, you win the game, and then you can go correct all the things you need to correct. And I hate to just keep going back to the defensive line, but they're allowing this defense to get even better in the back end. And then when you get Zeke Berry back, you get Rod Moore back. I mean, out of the stratosphere.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan, though, this has been their identity. Like when Mike McDonald got hired, and I think about that year coming off of COVID, and I think about where the program was at, and in comes Mike McDonald. You're talking about one of the bright minds in the game, and the success they had right away. Jesse Minter, look at the success he had and is having, and then you bring in the godfather of that defensive scheme with Wink Martindale, and it's just been this run of elite defensive minds combined with talented players, and it's been beautiful to watch. Yeah. The foundation of Michigan will always be the trenches. The D-line, yes. The offensive line is playing to their standard now, too. That's going to be the foundation. Now we're challenging their receivers to step up. On the flip side.
Offensive line not out of the woods yet.
But they are
being challenged. We're still challenging them as well. Yes.
But they dominated. They dominated yesterday. Yes. But Jaden Sanders, there's this. He's a freshman, and he's been getting more and more opportunity. That guy, anytime he was never out of position, tackled in space on key third downs, bringing the wide receiver up, fighting short, just like McCauley would fight and win at the point of attack. That little 50-50 ball wins at the point of attack and drives for a first down. The true freshman Jaden Sanders wins in the tackling drill and prevents a first down. And that's what you need is young guys. Hey, I'm sorry, guys, this is football. You're thrown into the fire, but ready for the moment and goes out and executes. And I do want to put one more bow on this, Dev, because I've been through ACLs with Rod Moore, and just like, it's so frustrating mentally because Rod's a guy that I know does everything right. He's a great human being.
Great team.
He deserves nothing bad should ever happen to Rod Moore because he's a great person. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's times where he's questioning everything and what's going on. Why is this happening? And to see him back out there, one, he's already a leader, but I bet there's some inspiration that happens for the defense and the team as a whole, because they know what Rod's been through. And I think, I don't know if you agree with this, to jump off that, there feels like there's a spirit to this Michigan football team that makes them really joyful to watch. And Rod's journey is like a small microcosm of the team as a whole. Do you feel a good spirit about the team?
Certainly, especially on defense, right? I mean, getting a chance, because those are the guys that get to see him the most, right? They get to see what he's been through. They get to see him in meetings, contributing in meetings, knowing that he won't be able to participate in the games, right? It's kind of getting a chance to watch that. It makes it real for you, because you always say, "Oh, it's just one play and it could be all over," right? But nobody thinks like that. You don't walk around thinking one play and I'll be done. However, it makes it real for you, right? So now you give everything. You have a different kind of passion, not only for yourself, but you give it for your teammate that you're watching fight and battle back. And he's almost to 100% back. And I can't wait.
That's right. That's that perspective. Yeah. I mean, you can talk about it, but when you see it every day, that is absolutely real. All right. Final break here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye week. And we'll talk about what we want to see from the team on the other side. You got one more thing?
It's something I very much want to see.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break, gather ourselves. We'll bring you the juice in the final segment. But hit that like button, subscribe button. We'll see you guys here on the other side. All right, welcome back to The Blueprint. We appreciate you guys tuning in with us. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Michigan is on a bye week. We will not be on a bye week, though. We're going to continue to push out episodes.
Never.
We love you guys. So show us the love by liking
and
subscribing.
You know what, Jake? Since they're on a bye week, how about people put questions or record videos?
I like that.
Send it to our Instagram. So this is what we're gonna do. We just thought of this just now. We just thought of this.
We'll put it out on X. Yeah.
Put a video. Send it in a DM to the Blueprint UM, and it may make the show in the bye week. It could be a grievance. It could be maybe something you're angry about. Maybe it could just be a question. Maybe you just want to put your face on there, and me and Jake will go through it. We'll pick some good ones, and we'll put you on the show.
That'd be great. Yeah, perfect. So no Michigan game this weekend. That's what we'll do. We'll challenge you guys to interact with us on social. We'll get this clipped up and pushed on our socials, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Great job, DG. Great job.
You do.
The quarterback.
You gotta think, man.
The quarterback. Let's go. Yeah. All right. I need you to quarterback the bye week checklist here. Mm-hmm. Michigan, hey, feeling good. Nice road win. What's on the docket this week? If you had a wand to wave, what would you be asking Michigan to get done?
Michigan. I know you got money and you're recruiting all these amazing players from other places. Samson Gash, Corey Sadler Jr. cannot not go to Michigan. Period. Samson Gash, Detroit Novi Catholic Central, wide receiver, right? We talked about through the show how we aren't getting open, how we need weapons, and we talked in the break about how does Indiana have wide receivers and Michigan have wide receivers, right? How does Michigan State have wide receivers and Michigan have wide receivers? Like, what is the problem? I don't know what you need to fix. I don't know what you need to do. Samson Gash has to go to Michigan. The best players go to Michigan that are from Michigan. And then Corey Sadler, in my opinion, he's a generational talent.
Wow.
Corey Sadler Jr., Detroit Cass Tech, which is a pipeline for the University of Michigan for many, many years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you got to do it. I don't know what's it going to cost. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't care. I was going to say.
Corey Sadler Jr. cannot go to UNC.
No.
Period.
No.
I don't know what you need to do. I don't care. I don't know. He has to go to the University of Michigan. So open the pocketbook, whatever you got to do. He's going to play both ways. He has that capability. Whatever needs to happen, he needs to be in Ann Arbor.
He doesn't want to go to UNC.
After watching those two guys this past week, let me just lay it out for you. In the first half, you got King versus Cass. And I don't know if you know about this, Jake, but it's the biggest rivalry. It's Michigan State. It's the biggest rivalry in the state of Michigan, in my opinion, right? Two Detroit schools, not very far apart. They're like, what are they? Like 40 Division I players on the field. So neither team can score. Neither team can do anything. Punt return touchdown. Receiving touchdown. Another receiving touchdown in the first half. Listen,
so he was the dude. He stood out amongst every.
This isn't playing against like some school, children of the poor. This is playing against other Division I football players that are going to play at a high level. People that aren't really afraid of him because they've known him his whole life. And not to mention, I've seen him do this since he was 9 years old. He has to go to Michigan. Fix it figure it out. Whatever you got to do. That's
There
what
it
I
is.
want to see done in the bye week or whatever. That needs to get done. Those two things.
This is a continuation because you don't want another Deion Burke situation. You don't want the best players because they take pride too, and especially in the world of the transfer portal, you want guys that are emotionally tied to the program.
Emotionally tied.
No, I'm with you. All right, I'll pick up off that. I don't know if you saw the injury report pregame. It seems like the injury report is growing every single week. It's been going on since camp. That's what the bye week's really for. I know sometimes Harbaugh would call them opportunity practices, and it'd be a grind. There's a delicate balance here. When your best players are that beat up, Michigan has to find a way to get healthy. I know we talk about the schedule, how it's manageable. USC, Washington, there's some teams that are being disrespected when we call the schedule manageable.
Yeah, those are good football teams.
Because now the opportunity's here. You're talking about right back in that playoff discussion if they handled their business. But you got to get healthy. And the wide receivers, jugs, tennis balls,
wide receiver coaches, like wide receiver specialist coaches,
everything.
Whatever. I don't know what you need to do. Yeah.
I think about when Steph Curry shoots threes, he says it doesn't count if it hits the rim. He wants it to be perfect. That's what it needs to be with the jugs machine. Like it has to be a perfect catch for it to count. Do it
all
with the
fingers, doesn't touch your palm.
Yes, that perfect sound, where it just sticks. Because right now, I don't think Michigan's good enough, like when they won the Natty, to overcome a ton of mistakes against the best teams. So that means everyone has to be at their best going forward. And that's what the bye week's for.
100%.
But you got any bye week stories? You ever take any trips when you were at Michigan, or you were hitting the ice tub to get healthy?
Poor.
You were beat up.
Wait
a second.
We had no money.
Trips.
Trips. How am I gonna take a trip? And also,
Chipotle.
yes, I was beat up. You remember?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You remember me having to tape my arm up every single practice to even throw a football? No, there's no way. And during the bye week, I have to be in the training room all day, every day, never leave. Can't even go to class at this point. Don't tell anybody. Shh.
Yeah. Well, if you guys got money these days, but get your butts in the training room, please. And hit the jugs and maybe go down and get up there to Cass and King and tell all those boys to come home. Come home.
Yeah.
This is a train that's running down the highway.
Go watch a Cass Tech football game and make sure that guy knows that you want him at your school.
Period.
Go watch a Novi Catholic Central, Detroit Catholic Central football game and make sure he knows, man, what are you doing? All we're going to do is put 70 on Michigan. Why would you go there? That's ridiculous.
It's not a resource thing. I see.
Make them feel stupid for even committing there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, hey, Oracle stock with Larry Ellison, it's ripping. Dave Portnoy, they signed a nice deal with Fox. I know the pockets are deep. Come on, we got to reinvest.
We got two guys. You need to go get them.
Yes. All right, DG, we're gonna get you a promotion to the head of recruiting for the state of Michigan, the Mitten area for the University of Michigan football team. I think it's got a good ring to it, but you do a good job on the call. I appreciate hanging out with you here. We appreciate you guys.
Who you got this week, Jake? Hold on. Who you got? Because the people, they can't watch Michigan football, but how can you still watch Michigan football? You can watch two Michigan guys on a football game on different days. I will tell you that. Who you got?
So I got, we've been having the good teams, but they've been blowouts. It's been Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon twice now. So I said we wanted a good game. Well, we're going to get a good game. It's going to be a different type of good game, but it's UCLA, Northwestern. So a critical game.
It's going to be a great game.
It'll be a great game.
It's going to be a great bad game.
A different game than what we're talking. What about you? Where are you going?
Well, I got Arizona State, right? And they've got two of the best
athletes. 2 straight weeks now?
Yeah. They got two of the best athletes in all of college football, and Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, and TCU, who is rolling.
Whoa.
Right? On Friday night, standalone. Let's go on Fox. Let's go.
Oh, that's going to be a great one.
So they watch mine on Friday, Michigan football, and they watch yours on Saturday, Michigan football. So everybody's thinking, oh, Michigan has a bye week. No, they don't. We play Friday and Saturday. Crazy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
How nice is it to have the same team 2 straight weeks, though? It's so nice.
I'm gonna go take a nap right now.
Yeah.
I have the luxury of being able to take a nap now.
You deserve it. Yeah. It's a little mini bye week in that sense. And my game's here in Chicago, so I don't have to travel. It's a mini bye week for me.
There you go.
So appreciate you, man. It's good hanging out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on next week's show of The Blueprint.